G'day, Scott here from ScottsHobbyz, and welcome to the third episode of the Can You Sharpen On It series. This episode we're going to try to do this knife. It's basically a stainless china buck 110 style knife. Got it from a friend. Not very sharp, as you can see. Needs the bevels are pretty uneven too from one side to the other. And we're going to try sharpen on a file. Got a few files here to try, but the ones we're really going to test is this one. It's just a Nicholson flat bastard double cut. As you can see, the teeth go both ways. You can also use a mill bastard file where the teeth go one way. That'll actually give you a slightly finer edge, as a double cut makes it more aggressive. And then to really test and see how fine of an edge we can get, I've actually got a Swiss cut number 4. It is still a Nicholson file, but it's a number 4 cut, which is a Swiss designation. I think it's Swiss anyway. And it's very, very fine. The finest file I've ever seen anyway. Well, I haven't seen that many. So a couple things that make a difference are the hardness of the steel. You can have a softer knife like this, is just a Wiltshire stainless Australia type 1, and it will file pretty easily compared to other knives I've done. Well, I haven't done many with a file, but I know that the steel in these is very soft. Oh, you look at that, that's just from a few strokes. Well, this is just a Victorinox Fibrox knife. I was playing with it a bit earlier, and it will file, the knife, but I'm putting more pressure for it to cut in, and steel's still coming off, but less steel there. But I think you could actually get away with it on that. But basically, the harder it gets, the closer to the hardness of the file it gets, the harder it's going to be to, and eventually you're just not going to be able to cut the steel. There's a few ways you can do this. You can have the knife like this, sort of try find the angle, but I don't really like that way. I find I don't have the best controls. I find these shorter knives are kind of hard to clamp down, so you can go like this, but what I'm actually going to do is try and use it like, almost like a stone, I guess. Need to find my file card. So I'm going to clamp the, that's the mill one, where's the double cut? I'm going to clamp the file down. You do have to be kind of careful this way, because what you'll find, especially if you've got a thin knife or you're getting close to the edge, and I only know this because I was playing around earlier, so this is like the second time I've ever sharpened a knife on a file, is that likes to get stuck in the teeth, and then if you've got this finger up here, it'll sort of catch, your finger will come forward, and then because you've still got pressure pulling, it wants to come out and get you, so you got to watch out for that. So don't try it this way, maybe clamp the knife down if you're worried about that. The other thing too, if you're doing bigger knives, I've sharpened machetes a fair few times. I just clamp the machete in the vise, file, and then I'll move the blade along, keep filing. But the video is more about smaller pocket knives, so not so much the big ones. Yeah, so I can feel it cutting, so, but we'll see what kind of edge we can get. Ugh, that sounds nasty. Making some progress, but it's kinda sounds really nasty. Now the teeth on a file only cut one way, so sort of as I'm pulling it towards me, it's cutting, and then I sort of let the pressure off and go back, because it doesn't cut that way, so there's no point putting pressure on the way back. As the file only cuts one way, to do the other side I need to push in. You could probably set 2 files up like that. I know this is only a cheap knife, but it still feels kind of wrong. Alright. Bevel, bevel, and we have a burr. So the idea here is I'm just trying to see if you can actually get some kind of edge off of a file. Say if you just got a cheap knife in the shed, or you know, you're just working in the yard or in the farm or wherever you are, and then need to bang a quick edge on something. Just want to see if I can get one that'll actually work if you don't have a stone with you or whatever. Now I've got to try and minimize the burr. So what I'm just trying to do is get the burr as small as possible off of the file, because it leaves a very aggressive burr. Too much for a leather belt to take off. Alright, draw it through a bit of wood a couple of times. Still some on there, but this is just a bare leather belt, so all this will do is help fold the burr back and forth until it snaps off. Alright, let's try a few tests. See if I can get it to shave any arm hair. There's a good spot. How about there? It's grabbing some, but not much. More skin than hair. Let's try a bit of paper. This is just your standard printer paper. You can hear it, it's quite rough. Wants to catch a lot. Let's try cut a piece of rope. Seems to cut the rope fine in such a jagged edge. What else can I try cut? Alright, found a couple other things that people might be likely to cut with a knife. Yeah, cuts that fine. I think this is like a grass seed bag. Yeah. Try the paper again. It's a pretty rough cut, which is quite interesting because I actually got a finer edge. This is just an old steak knife that I've been using to cut up sandpaper and stuff. I was playing around with it earlier, and I mean, that's a much finer edge. So it seems to depend on the knife as well. This one doesn't really want to give up the burr that readily, while this one, it came off fairly easily. So yeah, but let's go to the next step. Let's try this Swiss number 4 cut file. That's the original bevel, and then this is after the finer file. It's polished it up a bit. The other side didn't cut as well. I think it was a bit clogged up. These really fine ones seem to clog up a lot easier. Yeah, that's a lot better. It's rough as guts, and it sort of leaves some of them behind. But we're getting hair and a lot of skin, and you know, you probably get razor burn wherever you shave, but it's not bad off a file. Let's try a bit of paper. Oh, we'll strop it first on a bit of leather. Still got some chips in there. I think the chips were probably from when I was catching on the coarser file. So I cut down there where there's no chips, it goes really smooth. Let's try to cut through that knot. There we are. Bit of rope. This isn't very thick rope, but grass bag or feed bag or whatever it is. Seems to cut fairly well. So it seems to me you can get a practical edge. Like, it'll work, but it's not going to do anything too fine. Sort of, if you really work at it, you can kind of, where the chips are, you won't really do the paper too well, but down the bottom there doesn't seem to be as many chips. So yeah, you can get an edge that'll get you out of trouble. If you've got a really soft knife or cheap knife, you could use that. Use a file just to touch it up quickly. I was trying to be kind of careful there, but if you just really go at it, you'll get an edge pretty quick, or reprofile it. Yeah, so I think it kind of works. I'm gonna give it a pass. Not my favourite edge, that's for sure. I think later I'll go touch this up on my normal stones, because you know, I'm not entirely happy with it, but for what I was using, yeah, got a lot of pass. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, and have a good one.